All this action from the Amtech Inland Championship is proudly brought to you by EV Dynamics and their associate sponsors.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Yeah, and times are changing everywhere. Do we dream and do we dare? It's up to you, the door is open wide. Feel the rhythm of today, learn the part and join the play. The world is here, let's take it for a ride.
Good day and welcome to coverage of the EV Dynamics Inland Championship, where it's all about real people, real racing. Joining me on the show once again will be our panel of guests representing some of the top categories in the championship. Chris Hoy from Legends, Oz Biagioni from BMW, and Shane Kroon from NPCs. And finally, we will cross to highlights of all the action from the fourth round of the EV Dynamics Inland Championship, recently held at the Midvaal Raceway in Meyerton. Chris, you've joined Legends from Super Saloons. Tell us more about the experience and your 2018 season.
Hi, evening. Yes, it's actually an awesome experience that I did start racing in a Legend car. It's definitely not one of the most easiest car to drive. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of practice, which I still lack at a little bit. I'm learning every time I go out on the track. The guys are quite competitive and fast, but slowly but surely I'm starting to catch up with them, and I think by the end of the season I should start to get a little bit more competitive.
Oz, you've been doing really well this year with close battles at every race, and your car seems to be improving every time as well. Tell us more about your season.
Good evening, thank you. Well, as I was saying a little earlier, we were just having a casual chat and I was telling you about how I got into the sport. And it was purely with an E82 that I bought just for a bit of pleasure. And I started doing track days, BMW track days. And from there I progressed to wanting to buy a faster car, a race car, which I duly did in beginning of 2017. And I've been preparing this, I've been improving on this car for the last year and a half, or whatever we're into right now. It's probably 14 months. Thoroughly enjoying it, done a lot of changes to the car to become more and more competitive. I am winning. Unfortunately, I've had a little bit of bad luck this year in that I had 2 DNFs due to some mechanical issues. But my last 2 races I've won, and it's a fantastic sport to be in because I'm competing with youngsters of half my age, and I'm beating them, so having great fun, really enjoying it, and can't wait for the next race.
Shane, your 2018 didn't start off as planned, with some mechanical issues and then a blown engine. Tell us more about that.
Well, I rebuilt the car after last year's season, and first race meeting we had a bit of a wiring problem, which we managed to find. And then the second event, in practice blew the motor, and we decided to change things up a bit.
You're busy building a turbo class Golf. What made you decide to jump to turbo class, and will your car be ready for the next Midvaal race?
Well, most of my teammates are running turbo, so I just decided, let's go have fun with them. And Keegan's really fast, my teammate Keegan Potus, he's really fast, and I feel I want to try actually catch him or try beat him. So we'll see what happens with that.
Thanks guys. We will be right back after the break to bring you highlights of the races from Midvaal. Welcome back. Up next, we head straight into all the race highlights of the Bridgestone BMW Car Club Racing Series.
Thanks, Nick. Here at Midvaal, ready to rock and roll now for this incredible bit of race action. As always, in the BMW Car Club Racing Series, some big fields and more importantly, big action. As they head down into turn number 1 now, keep an eye out on a couple of the usual contenders that'll be looking to get to the front end. Incredible maneuver here from David Kutsia to find something special. He's been working hard on the Extreme Festival as well as on the Amtech Inland Championship to get his car all sorted out, and it seems to be working very well. He's the man to catch so far as they head down into turn 1. We go on board here with Shane Krobler. This is the Mayfair Gearbox BMW fighting hard there with that Viking Mining BM right ahead. You can see just how tight it is here, and already starting to show the inside line, finding an opportunity coming through turn number 3. They head up onto the back straight now any second, and you can see the battle at the front end is going to be basically between 3 or 4 cars. Kutsia seems to have a little bit of an advantage, but Leroux is there and so is Willie Erasmus. In the mid-pack, keep an eye out on Craig Ball and Oz Baggioni, already going at it and looking for opportunities where there are some. Kutsia pulling away at the front end ever so slightly. You can see already some action though just behind as Leroux goes on the defensive. Oh, speaking of defensives, there's a big move on the inside from Erasmus. Willie Erasmus dives on the inside, still in his old car, not in the new car right now, so they haven't quite got that car sorted out, but you can see the Big Boss and Speed and Sound machine is certainly working hard, even though it's smoking ever so slightly. As they come through into the final turn now to complete lap number 1. Very, very hard action already from the start line, and these guys are going to go all at it for the rest of this race. Back on board here with Rick as we go down into turn 1. This 325 IS is exceptionally quick and handles pretty well, but Kutsia giving him a bit of a run for his money there. Had to just go on the defensive. Loses out ever so slightly to Rick Leroux as they go through turn 2. A very, very long left-hander here. It flicks over into a right-hander, and then, of course, a little squirt down the short straight that brings you into a big, big left-hander. Double apex corner and takes you onto that back straight. Kutsia's car will probably have the legs on the straight, so keep an eye and see if he's able to catch onto the back end of Leroux. Leroux got good drive, though. Paulo Leroux with some issues, always slowing. Paulo Leroux with a problem in the combined racing and TuneTech BMW. And the yellow machine, unfortunately, is going to be a yellow peril today because it's now going to have to park on the sideline. As I said, there you go, Kutsia using the additional bit of power that he's got, and he flies past Rick Leroux to get the lead again. The two of them coming out of that back straight through the complex section now. And this is a tricky section, particularly when you go this way around in the circuit. You've got to get these lines absolutely perfect. Mid-pack battles continue. Nice maneuver there from Jimmy T. Jimmy Temeglu fighting hard with Anthony Marks, and he's just ahead. Keep an eye on the maneuvers that are going to be happening there. Tony Marks, Warren Dodd, and Jimmy T, and Alan Hilligen in there as well, having a super, super battle. Side-by-side action at the bottom of the straight. This can only mean the inside line is probably the best place to be. Unfortunately, there you can see Leroux's car parked on the sideline, but continued action there as Willie Erasmus goes at it with Jan Everstein. Everstein and Craig Ball just in the mix there as well. He's just off the back end, trying to close down on these guys. You can see the red car starting to make his way up. It's going to be a 5-car battle here, potentially, for what is going to be 3rd place on track. Oz Baggioni, the pool man, keeping out the youngster. And looks like he's going to have his work cut out for him. Back on board once again with the 2 leaders. Rick Leroux looking for another chance. Oh, and he gets up the inside. Was that a missed gear? Possibly coming out of there in the wrong gear there. David Kutsia just not getting the right drive onto this back straight. But have a look at this power now as he puts the hammer down. Oh, brilliant. Into the slipstream. That little 325 IS of Leroux's is incredibly quick. But unfortunately, the big 328 has got that little bit of extra power and, of course, the turbo. And it just helps out as he goes down that main straight and retakes the lead. Into turn 5 they go now. Back into the complex. Leroux's not letting him have it all his own way, though. He is definitely fighting hard and looking for chances and for possibilities of stealing that win away. He is all over the back. Kutsia, as I said, been working hard. Oh, there's a move on the inside. Leroux had a big look. Sure, that could have ended up in tears. Fortunately, he got on the inside there and didn't touch, but there's enough room out there to play, that's for sure. Further back in the field, you can see things starting to heat up as well in amongst these cars, and this is such a good opportunity for guys like this. And look at how Renier is just getting through there. Renier Smith finding a way through there, and Grobler, the big M5, losing out some ground there. But the M5, oh, here we go. V8 power down the back straight away, and thank you for coming. There you go. Grobler retakes that position and takes Renier Smith 1 down and 1 position back into 9th. So this is a battle basically to keep them inside the top 10. Great little battle here as well between these two. They're not going to hold back anything there. Renier Smith just trying to come back at that big M5. Just behind them, keep an eye on Sav Gutierrez and on Sean Lamprecht, who are also in the little mix there. Further back in the field, 222. Awesome stuff to see Clippy's Cricker having some fun and games. And going at it with Ari van Heerden. Van Heerden also in a 325 IS. Diving on the inside, big wing on it, trying to use the downforce as much as he can. So it's going to be literally to the line for a couple of these battles. Villiers Rasmus, oh, this is super to see. Osbo Gioni and Villiers Rasmus side by side down that back straight away. And it looks like Rasmus might just have the edge here. Look at how he just uses that inside curb. Lot of laps around this circuit, this young man, even though he's got a short career. He's basically been at it since he was about 13 or 14 years of age. So he definitely knows Midvaal very well. And it doesn't matter which way you go. I was going to have to find something special now in the closing stages. In the mid-pack again, look at how they're just chopping and changing there. A little bit of smoke and tyres there. Guys starting to heat up and lock up the wheels. Be a little bit of an issue with some of the cars, but nevertheless, it is a fantastic battle, as always, here in the Bridgestone BMW Car Club Racing Series. Sean Lamprecht in that little fight and maintaining the battle. Speaking of battles, this one has continued all the way through. You can see the big number 100, Mike Grobler, and a little bit of back markers coming into play now. Grobler going to go around the outside and look for a chance to get through there on the number 31. Can he find a way past? Not quite sure if Yanni Breath saw them coming. He eventually did. Gets out the way, and then that steam train heads down the back straight. Well, I said it was a bit of tyre smoke. It actually looks like it's more than tyre smoke. Whoa, that's a big one. That is a big one there for Craig Withers. Unfortunately got out of shape, and Withers just getting it a little bit out of shape, coming out of the back straight, and tried to take some evasive action there. The car that was smoking, I was about to say that's a car that I thought had a bit of tyre smoke, but it actually looks like it might be a bit of engine smoke. Very lucky to survive that one, but Withers very lucky to get the car stopped before the rest of that pack, which was led out by Sean Lamprecht, got to him and just avoided the man who spun out. Big flame out of David Kutsia as he heads towards the line. The checkered flag will be waiting, and what a win. That is a fantastic effort there from him, beating out Rick Leroux eventually by 1.7 seconds, and Villiers Rasmus into third place for Class Bs. It's Craig Ball, Bagioni and Grobler, the top three in Class C. As we move on to Class D, at the top, great effort there from Neck to beat out Warren Dodd, and Alan Helligen coming through for third place.
I didn't qualify too well, but it's been another great day for Bavaria 0.0 racing team. Started sixth on the grid. Unfortunately, I think Paolo had an issue, so he dropped out. And then it was an interesting scrap with Billy and Oz, and Oz was locking up a lot. I don't know if the pressure was getting to him or something was wrong with his car, but yeah, and then I think he had a problem going down the straight, maybe a vibration, heavy vibration, and I was able to catch him, and Craig was pushing me all the time, so we had a nice scrap there, and it was it was awesome. It was a great day, and we'll wait for race 2, and we'll see how it goes.
First lap I started having fueling issues on the car, so I fell all the way to the back, made up a few positions, and then had the same issue over and over again. So yeah, well, it is what it is. I'm not sure if we scored any points, but yeah, let's see what we can take from this one.
Straight into Heat 2, and this time we got a slightly different front of the field as they head down into turn number 1. Watch out for David Kutsia coming from the back of that reverse grid. And already Lamprecht showing some prowess there, trying to squeeze through and go with those top runners. He's got a slightly better start, Jimmy T on his tail, but already the pressure coming through there as the 5 car starts to make its way through. That's Renier Smith. Look out from just behind Renier Smith. Keep an eye out, of course, for the number 100 car. That's definitely going to be a man to watch out for in this one. But now as they come down under braking to get onto that back straight, you can see them all starting to sort things out there. Ball goes around the outside, and he tries to get a good line on Jimmy T. Going to try and use the slipstream effect down that back straight. Look at this, and 20 marks giving us a great opportunity to see how well that slipstream effect works. There's one car slotting in. That's Jimmy T. He gets into the mid-pack, and he pulls out. There you go, on the brakes down into the back end of that back straightaway. Whoa, Villiers Rasmus being hounded there by Sav. Sav all over the back end of him, looking for a way through, and cannot find it just yet. But look at how tight it is between these guys as they come into the complex. Front end, it is all about Leroux trying to get to the front, and he knows he has to get to the front as early as possible. If he doesn't find a way through here on the leader, it looks like there's going to be a bit of an issue. And I can tell you what, Jan Everstein is doing everything right to try and make that BMW as wide as possible. He runs ever so slightly wide, unfortunately, and that might give Leroux a chance. David Kutsia now also looking to use the power down that back straight. Look at that, absolutely brilliant stuff. Yanni Breert trying to squeeze between the two of them and thread the needle, but he cannot find a way past. Here comes Kutsia, late on the brakes, all the way down the inside, on the grass even. Oh, he runs into the grass and off, nearly takes out Everstein. Everstein just avoiding the maneuver there from David Coetzee. That was very late braking. Coetzee had to do it all right, and he did. Which he ran a little bit wide and nearly took 2 cars out, but fortunately, the 2 of them stayed on track. So it's now Leroux that leads out. Coetzee in second. And Leroux looking for a double victory here if he can get it, that's for sure. They've pulled away ever so slightly from the rest of that pack. And you can see Everstein now is under threat. Looking for a way past his Willie Erasmus, 7 versus 1. Single-digit numbers fighting hard here. And Everstein trying yet again to try and make that BMW of his as wide as possible. Oh, Willie onto the dirt slightly. That might compromise his drive. David Coetzee now using the additional powers we've seen all day long. And the Elska competition machine goes flying down and through, under braking. He's got it all sorted. This time, a little bit earlier on the brakes. Didn't have to quite go as aggressive as what he did earlier on, but a super effort nonetheless to get to the front. Leroux in second, fighting hard. Rick is not going to let this one go. The little red rocket is certainly flying and definitely in with a shot here of giving Coetzee a little bit of hassles to the line. There's still a little bit of a way to go there in this race. It's not done yet between these two. In the background, Willie Erasmus now on the inside, looking for a chance to get the outbraking maneuver. Can he get it on Everstein? No, he's not close enough. Everstein just able to outbrake him into turn 1. Erasmus takes a slightly wider line. Watch him cut back and use the inside line on the exit point of turn 2. That big double left-hander. As they come through, he'll try and cut back and get on the inside. No, but Everstein saw him coming and forced him wide. Wide enough to put him on the dirt again. Jan Everstein is making his BMW exceptionally wide, and the Bavaria car is not going to be an easy one to pass here. Erasmus is going to have to try and use something special that he's got in up his sleeve possibly to find a way past. Here we go, back again into the battle yet again between these two. No worries at all in terms of how they've been fighting hard, but they have been fighting hard, and that's great to see. Jimmy T just ahead of them there, so he's not normally in the mix with these two, but Mark Krubler certainly knows what to do in this M5. And can he just get past Jimmy T and maybe put some air glue between himself and the hard charge coming from behind? You can see how he's just left in the background, Renier Smith. But Renier now has to try and find a way through on Jimmy T as well. Let's see if he can find that. I'm quite sure he's going to be able to do that here through the complex. He'll have to wait until he gets onto the main straight. Further back, you can see some great little battles. Troy Cochran in there as well. And looks like just keeping an eye on the background as Antonio Marks goes through there. Keep an eye on the background in these shots because the leaders should be coming into sight any second. And they're going to be certainly in with a run for their money. Hilligen already got a 3rd place in the first one. He's looking to be a slightly, probably higher up on that podium if he can get there. Battle continues here as Willie Erasmus tries to find a way past, but cannot do it. It is so tight between these guys. Yannick Briet just ahead of them, but a super effort here from Jan Everstein. This is a bit closer. Oh, good move there. I thought it was a little bit closer. I thought he might wait until he gets onto turn 1, but he waits until the last corner and dives on the inside and gets through. Everstein wasn't expecting that. He goes defensive to keep Jan out. Oof, I don't know about that one, eh? 2 maneuvers there. You're only allowed to make 1. But anyway, the Speed and Sound car has just been able to get through there on that Bavaria BMW. And looks like Willie might be able to hold that line now. You can see the ability of the Big Boss and Speed and Sound car through that left-hander. Slightly better handling car. It got away about a car length over Everstein through that. Further back, Lamprecht continues the battle with Ball. Them side by side, the two of them. This is great to see. Mixing it up. Oh, and there comes Baggioni as well. Oz is in the fight too. 3 of them down the back straight. Could they go 3 by 3 down towards this turn? This is turn 5 they come to at the bottom. Oh, it is so tight. Baggioni's on the inside though, and he managed just to squeeze through there. So good maneuver there from Baggioni, just finding a special line onto that back straight. Uses the drive he got onto the back straight and gets through. Coetzee with the double in his hands. A super effort here and a great day's racing, and all the seat time he's had is definitely paying off. He comes through to take the victory and a double win on the day ahead of Rick Leroux. And coming through there for 3rd place will be Yanni Briet. In Class C, it was Oz Baggioni who hung on ahead of Langprecht, and then a great effort from Craig Ball in the Rock Solid Industries BMW to take 3rd place. Macris comes through for the win in Class D's, beating Warren Dodd and Neil Reynolds up in the top 3 in the Vision Automation BMW. Awesome effort here from all of our BMWs.
Yeah, no, I mean, the turbo cars are just way too quick, so they passed us on the straight. Actually, I was surprised they came so quickly, and we all braked up. I think there were 4 of us braking into that corner. So, yeah, that was a nice, scary moment. And then I know what Oz felt like in the first round. I had Willie chasing me the whole way, and it was great fun. Eventually he caught me. I didn't let him go, but yeah, he was just a little bit too quick. We're struggling a bit with the rear tyres. They're a bit old now, but we'll see what happens next race, and looking forward to Swartkops in a couple of weeks.
I'm ecstatic. You know what? I'm using the little 3 to 8, and the M3 still busy being repaired and so forth. But I tell you what, sticking with the guys that are top of the class, I stood my ground. I'm really, really chuffed on how it went. Absolutely.
Weekend went well. I had a bit of a bad qualifying, but nevertheless, I went through the grid in race 1, and then I did race 2, and I tried to keep my position. And it went very well, thanks to Big Boss also fixing my car from the previous hiccup that I had. And then thanks to my sponsors and that. Thank you very much.
Up next, we head into the Motul NPCs, SRAs and Super Saloons.
Mike, Jordan, you guys have some incredibly exciting news. I hear that you've won something from Motul and have some exciting plans.
Hi, yes, Nicole, we actually have. Last year we entered NPC modified production cars, and Jordan won the Class B championship. And because we entered all the races in the year, we actually got into a draw that Motul had, and that was a trip for one to the Lamar, but fortunately I'm going with him.
Jordan, this must be a dream come true. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I can't wait for next month to go to the Lamar. It's the classic, so it's going to be some nice old cars.
And it must have been a great season.
Yeah, it was a good season, very competitive season. Good racing, but in the end I was able to win the championship.
Thank you, Jordan. Up next, race highlights of the Motul NPC and Super Saloons.
When you mix up the SRC and the Super Saloons as well as our NPCs, there's always great action. Different power and different abilities. Let's find out from Robertson what his plans are for this race meeting.
I've got a lot of catching up to do. I missed a round, but we're out here in the Shield Golf. We're going to give it horns today. Looking forward. I hope once it warms up a little bit, it should all be good. But chasing and still a bit of a way to go in the championship.
I'm very happy actually, because I'm actually leading the championship by quite a margin. I'm actually surprised because the little laser is actually going very, very well. I mean, it just keeps on going, and you know, I'm just keeping it there all the time. So yeah, and winning races, and that's what counts at the end of the day.
Yeah, loving it at the moment. A lot better than last year, as this is my second season. So a little ups and downs last year, but this year, you know, the 3 tracks we've been at, I've done personal best times. So yeah, car's going good. Good bunch of guys around me, the support team, so doing well.
Here we go. Light up the tyres and let's see what happens down into turn 1. Basically Golf 1s and Hondas at the front end. That's what we expect. There's a couple of Polos thrown into the mix as well, and one of them is Ella's, as you can see. Look at this, a good start from Keegan Potus, the EV Dynamics Honda, heading into turn 2 now. Very, very rapid little car. One car you're going to have to keep an eye on, of course, is Paul Simon as well, as he makes his way through there. He's sitting currently in 4th place. Just behind him, Dirk Lawrence, and then first of those, I think it's the first of the Silver Cup cars that have come through there and starting to put on the pressure. You can see David Free and Paul van Niekerk fighting hard as they come through onto that back straight. Golf 1's basically dominating this entire pack. You can see just how hard these guys are going to have to work. In the background, you can also pick up on McGregor as he comes through there. Lucky McGregor as we go on board here with Wayne Lebotsky. And the Shield machine just battling a little bit with a couple of cars that have probably got turbos in. And down that back straight will make it a little bit more difficult for him to stay with them. Coming under braking. A little bit of an attack coming from the Lotus just in the background. As that comes flying through there, you can see just how difficult it's going to be to try and keep out this pack. But McGregor in the Grange workwear machine doing a super job to stay in the front end and possibly look for another championship, as we heard from him in the break. Dirk Lawrence is under attack, and you can see just how hard he's going to have to work to keep out David Free. Nice maneuver here. Ehlers and Ehlers, the 2 Ehlers boys, Ian and Rowan, doing a great job to be at the front end and stay with, incredibly, Keegan Potus. Didn't expect that. Potus's car is a rapid little machine and certainly knows its way around this circuit. But it looks like Paul Simon is now going to give them a bit of a run for their money. He closes onto the back end of Ehlers in the Polo, and Ian Ehlers, I don't think he's going to have an answer to Paul Simon if he pulls out under braking. He pulls out under braking, looks for an opportunity. Oh! Gets it all out of shape. But fortunately, he just catches it. That is a beast of a car. And I had a chat to him the last time I saw him at SWAT Corps, and he was saying to me he was enjoying driving the Volkswagen Caddy Bucky he's built. But this little Golf is a handful, and you can see just how hard he's having to work to keep it all together. And as I say that, oh, a little bit of issue there. It slows up. He must have had a slight gear issue there, or something went wrong in the car. Has he got it going again? Yes, he has. Paul Simon's going to have to work hard now to come from 4th place. Lawrence under attack. Oh, the JDM tuning Honda. This machine is basically, it's just an untouchable machine. Bomb-proof as well, hardly gives any issues. And it even gives the boys like David Fourie a bit of a run for their money in the space frames. Coming through that space frame is looking dangerous though, and I think you're going to have to watch the rearview mirrors all the time. It's difficult to spot those space frames in the rearview mirrors because they're so much lower than a normal saloon car. But Fourie hounding the back of the Azoic panel beats his man. I can tell you something, Dirk Lawrence is he's going to love that, but he's not going to give it up easily. Further back in this pack of cars, and there's a big pack, it's great to see. 123 out there as well as Giles Darroch, fighting hard, as you can see, side by side there with Don McKay. We just spoke to Don. He was looking forward to today's racing. It looks like it's all going well, according to what we see. We're on board with the EV Dynamics man right now. Loses a little bit of ground to one of the Polos as it dives up the back end and comes under braking. And in fact, under braking, that's not a Polo, that's actually the Golf. So apologies there, Paul Verias. And he closes in on the back end of that very quick little Mazda. So we're going to have some fun and games now. As you can see, the big mix of cars here. Even the little BMW in there as well, getting a bit of a run for his money. Bernard de Gouveia getting a little bit of extra time in the seat there to learn the circuit. Front end, it's still all about Potus. He has not been bettered in that EV Dynamics Honda. And it looks like Ian Ehlers is starting to close in on him. So maybe just having a bit of fun and games with these boys. Ehlers is looking in his rearview mirrors and hoping that he doesn't see that yellow car of Paul Simon. How far back is Simon? This is Labochki's point of view as he closes onto the back end and looking for a way through. As you can see, fighting hard. I think that might be David Kutsia that he's side by side with as he comes up alongside the space frame. Has he been able to get through? Oh, it's very close. Round the outside, some great handling there on that machine. And in fact, it's Richard Bremer. So Richard Bremer going through there and hanging in, but fighting hard with Labochki. Here comes the 7. Oh, that's a car to have around this circuit. I've driven a couple of those in the Lotus Challenge, and they really are great handling cars. So we're coming into the closing stages now, and things are starting to heat up ever so slightly. You can see a bit of chopping and changing in the mid-pack. Looking for a way through there. Good dive from the inside from Giles Darroch. He does get through. Darroch in a new car. As you can see, it's not the Golf one that he's normally in. He's developing this Polo and getting it ready to go at full time as he gets up the inside and then around the outside of Don Brown. Had to try and find a way through there, but eventually finds a way through there. And I think he's going to be, Dwayne's staying with him as they get onto the braking markers. He comes back at Darroch. So this fight's not done just yet. As I said, just finding his feet in this car at the moment. Hasn't quite got exactly the setup. A little bit of lock up into turn 2. Dwayne Brown unfortunately loses out there. And we can see just how well those Polos handle. Little Mazda 323 on the tail, looking for a way past as well. Fighting hard, Richard Cooley in there, and looking for opportunities if there are any. You can see, in fact, 2 Mazdas having some fun and games. It's great to see Michael Freyd and Cooley all in this, 6-car battle here. That's what it's all about. The 135 car coming around the outside. A super effort there from Frank and Mateo. He's now joined the fray. He, of course, in the Ford Laser. So we've got Mazdas, Ford Lasers, Golf 1s, Polos, Fiestas. Oh, what a mix of cars. And this is what it's all about when it comes to the Motul NPCs, SRAs and Silver Cup combined. Super Saloons in this one as well. Look at that. Wow. Italian Stallion has got that Deltec batteries machine working very well as it comes under braking now at the back of the straight into the complex. Losing a little bit of ground there to Cooley in the Mazda. But needless to say, I think Dwayne Brown, oh yeah, I thought so. Dwayne Brown could be in trouble. And Italian Stallion using that, probably a little bit more knowledge than Dwayne has got to get through on the inside of that turn. But staying with him is the 130 car of Don McKay. And Don is not going to let the Italian Stallion get away. Oh, there we go. Incoming, Bernard de Gouveia coming through as well to have some fun and games. There's McGregor under attack. He's going to have an answer to the space frame. The Polo's going to be slightly heavier than that space frame, but he'll still try and run with him. And needless to say, Luke McGregor having a fantastic day in that Grange workwear car. This is the man who's had the best day so far, though, as he's coming to the checkered flag. And the EV Dynamics Honda CRX is going to take the first victory here. And a super effort there from Keegan Potus. Eventually pulling a 7.5 second gap over Paul Simon and Ian Ehlers. But of course, they're in NPCs. They take Class B honours there. And Rowan Ehlers coming through for second in the Class Bs and Labochki in the Class Cs. Class D went to Michael Freyd ahead of De Matteo. In the E's, it was Dwayne Brown and Bernard de Gavea. David Kutsia taking SRA1 ahead of Philip Adicott. Dwayne Faree in the SSCs will take that ahead of Richard Cooley in that FSF Engineering Little Mazda. Let's catch up with our race 1 winner though, and that is Keegan Potus.
The car performed really well. I had a good dice with the Ellis, one of the Ellis brothers in their Polo. They just turbocharged that car, so it's giving me some good competition. Yeah, and the car is just working like clockwork now. You know, the motor's reliable. You just get in and drive, and it's fast. You know, so yeah, it was a good race.
Not really happy. I made 1 or 2 mistakes out there. Could have gone better. Definitely going to try harder in the second race. But yeah, the competition's tough. The guys are getting faster. But really, it was fun out there.
Well, we're going to have some fun right now, because if Keegan Potus has decided to start from pit lane like he said, and only gets going once this entire pack has gone through, we have got 25 cars for him to negotiate. Should be pretty interesting stuff to see if he can get that EV Dynamics Honda of his through this big pack. As they head down into turn 2, you can see Rowan Ehlers already fighting there with the 44 of Richard Cooley. Cooley side by side as they come up on the inside. 2 Golfs are side by side as well. Paul Simon under attack and also looking for opportunities. Simon had a good first outing. Hopefully he can keep that car together. The 123 already starting to get in the mix as well is Giles Darroch, and Ehlers on his tail. Looks like it's going to be some fun and games. Lebochki's in there too as they come through their Golf 1 on the inside. On the outside is another Golf 1. There goes on board, and as the Polo been able to get through, they come onto the back end of that Opel of Nicholas Cleary. He's got no chance of answering the power of the additional cars ahead of him. Unfortunately, he's going to have to just tuck in and try and stay up as high as he can. Cooley onto the back end of Darroch. Lebochki's out in front of the 2 of them. So it's Golf 1, Polo, and Space Frame. Then it's the Opel. And it looks like Cleary's going to have his hands and feet and everything full of cars coming around him. All of a sudden, here comes the attack as well from 112 Dwayne Brown. Dwayne Brown also starting to put the pressure onto the back end of the Opel. Late braking from the Space Frame, slightly lighter car, so it can go a little bit later on the brakes. See, Dirk Lawrence has already made his way up ahead of that Opel, and he's brought along Dwayne Brown for the run too. They come up under there. Oh, that's what I was looking for. How far up has Potus got? After a lap and a half, he's about halfway through the field, so it's not taking too long. It shouldn't though, because down this back straight, that little Honda has got, oh no, Paul Simon. As I was about to say, where's Paul Simon? He's been pulled to the sideline. So unfortunately, it hasn't worked out as well as what he'd like in that Golf 1 of his. It's a very powerful Golf 1. He does have some issues with side shafts, and he's trying to still get that car to work. He's got a superbly competitive Volkswagen Caddy Bucky, but unfortunately the Golf 1 giving up the ghost there. Lawrence with Darroch, and the meat and the sandwich between the 2 Hondas at this stage. Shouldn't be too much of an issue there for Keegan Potus to find a way through on the Polo, and then he'll maybe have his hands a little bit fuller when it comes to Dirk Lawrence. Lawrence is not going to make it easy for him. Oh no, is that McGregor? Yes it is. McGregor with some problems. Is that Mike McGregor with some smoke coming out of the back of that Grange Workwear Golf 1? I think it is. Luke McGregor still in the mix, but looks like Mikey's day might be done. Hard on the brakes. That's Lebochki on the inside of Lawrence. JDM tuning. Honda taking on the great Lebochki there. And looks like he's just been able to get through. So Wayne Lebochki doing as I say that, doing a good job, and then opens up the door. You don't want to do that when Lawrence is on your tail. He will punish you big time. And you don't want to do that, especially when Richard Cooley's there. Cooley looking for a way through as well. So this is Honda, Golf, and Space Frame, all fighting hard. And this is what it's all about when you get these cars in the mix. Right, so onto the breakers here, and looking for Michael Frey to deal with Dwayne Brown. And it looks like here comes McGregor. Yes, the Grange Workwear Polo coming into the mix and bringing along Don McKay for the ride. So we've got 2 Golf 1s, the Polo, all in a fight of note, and that Mazda. So we've got Ford Fiesta, Mazda, Polo, and Golf 1. Golf 1 shouldn't be too far back. There it is. And pretty much cars that you would see on the road in their day, and would have been competitors to each other as well, but slightly different eras here as well, because I mean that 323 was definitely not in the same era as the Fiesta or that Polo, but there you go. They're fighting hard on track nonetheless. And finding a way past is McGregor. He finds a good line into turn 1, and will probably hang on to that lead. Here we see the progress of potentially the race winner if he continues with the kind of progress he's got. That doesn't sound good. Ehlers with a problem and starting to just not fire like it was. Just listening to it as it came through there, looks like Ian Ellis might have a small issue on that car. Hopefully he can just keep it going and nurse it to the line. The Motul NPCs and of course SRA and Silver Cup Super Saloons all combined here and all giving us a great show. There you go, eventually. Good move on the inside. Lukey just dives up the inside and finds a way past and gets past Dwayne Brown, who's now under attack. The 148 car, of course, Michael Freyd is not afraid to go and throw it up the inside if he has to. Once again back into what is going to be about 5th and 6th place battle, and that is the Azoic Panel Beaters and JDM Tuning Honda. And around the outside of David Kutsia, oh man, making Dirk Lawrence drive around the outside of that very long left-hander. But the inside line comes up very quickly. They're still side by side. This is brilliant stuff. Lots of room, lots of respect, and some room to play as well. That's what we love. Lebotsky looking at it going, yeah, keep going, boys. I'm going to come and get you if something goes wrong. He's not too far off the back end of that one. And then, of course, just behind him, the 44 car there of Cooley. Checkered flag comes out, and incredibly, Keegan Potus has got to the front on the last lap. And, in fact, he pulled a small margin over Ian Ellis, whose car, as we saw, was ailing ever so slightly in that last lap. He'll still come through for 2nd place. And a great effort there from him to beat out Paul van Niekerk for Class B. Lebotsky takes the C's ahead of Giles Darroch. It's Michael Freyd and Dwayne Brown that take the honours in Class D. Only one Class E competitor, Nicholas Cleary in his Opel. And David Kutsia wins out the SRAs, beating Philip Adicott to the line. Final bit of results there. David Fareed taking the win in the SSCs ahead of Richard Cooley. And that brings us to the end of the Motul NPCs, SRAs and Super Saloons combined.
We thought, okay, we had a good lead on the first race, so let's start from the back on the second race just to have some fun. And yeah, just pushed hard from there. Got through the field within about 6-7. On the 7th lap, there was a good challenge with Ian Ellis, and yeah, pushed hard, got past him on the back straight, and yeah, managed to win the race still.
Up next, highlights of the Onyx Legends Championship.
Thanks, Nex. Yes, we're looking forward to this one. 14 cars going to go at it today. And a lot of the guys have been doing some prep in between to get these little machines all sorted out. Motorcycle engines inside, of course, and a very competitive category. And you've got to have your wits about you, particularly in this category, because at Midvaal, you can go 3x3, if not 4x4. Let's have a look and see here as we're on board down into turn 1. There you see exactly what I was talking about. Stephen Levine losing out a little bit of ground there as we went into turn number 1. And you can see just how difficult it's going to be for these guys. Chris Hoy also having some fun. We're on board with Dane van Heerden as they go side by side, 2x2 through a very tricky corner. And these semi-slick tyres are going to have to work hard, harder than most here at the Midvaal Raceway. Coming under braking to get onto that back straight now. You can see some manoeuvres happening already in that mid-pack. And it's not going to be easy. Richard van Heerden already having some fun and games of his own in the AutoZone car. Side by side there with the Ziegler car. And actually just tucks in behind Stephen Levine as they get onto that back straight for the first time. Under braking, down on the brakes and into the very fast left-hand sweep. Particularly in these cars, it's basically one gear down and bang it through. And then you'll basically hold the gear through here. Down another gear, probably to 3rd or 2nd, depending on the gear ratio. And coming out of here, it's everything she's got onto the main straight. As they come onto that main straight, have a look at this little fight there. Ziegler fighting hard. That is the Ziegler car of Stephen Levine. And Van der Venter is all over the back of him and is hounding him down, trying to find a way past. Not going to be easy to do. Front 10 is Justin Robertson, and Robertson is just hanging on for dear life. Can he keep out the attack? Oh, no, he can't. There's a big dive from the 68 car, Gerard Roux. It's going to be a tough day in the saddle there as Justin Robertson starts to put the pressure on to Jason Loosemore. We're on board here with Richard Upton. This is Loosemore just ahead, and Robertson on the left-hand side. The Liqui Big Boss car has got the inside line, which is a good move here from Richard Upton. He decides to go with him and goes on the inside to get past and through on Jason Loosemore. Loosemore going to try and hang with these two as they start to close things down on Gerard Roux, who now leads things out. Little leg dive on the inside. I think Justin saw it coming, but he runs wide. Oh, Robertson runs wide. He'll have some time to recover. The champion putting him into a little bit of pressure there and ran him wide, nearly off the track, but he managed to just catch that car before it went onto the dirty stuff. So it is all about Gerard Roux at the front end. Robertson now has recovered, trying to find a way back past the number 1 car in front, and it's not going to be an easy job, that is for sure. Richard Upton fought hard to get that number 1 plate, and he's looking to retain it. But Justin Robertson would love to take it away and remove that number 6 from his car to make the 16 car into the 1 car by the end of this season. And with that kind of maneuver, it can certainly work well. Up into second. Coming up in amongst some of the back markers by the looks of things. And see just how tight it is between these guys as they flick it through there. Further down the field, the 23 car of Charles Roux also starting to make some maneuvers. He closes in, finds a way past. I think that was on Loosemore. Yes, it was. As he comes flying through there, Johan van der Venter in the mix just ahead. And you can see Richard van Heerden, Dane van Heerden and Ian Upton all fighting hard for possibilities to stay in single digits and in the top 10 overall. Richard van Heerden now onto the main straight. He's got about 5 or 6 cars behind him. There, of course, would be the likes of Sean Moore, Jagger Robertson and Chris Hoy. And they're all into some fantastic race action here, as always, in the Onyx Legends. And look at how these cars are starting to squirrel around, making it very difficult. These track conditions, weather's pretty cool. It's not boiling hot, of course, which is good for the engines, but it's not good for track temperature. And that's why you're starting to see these cars sliding ever so slightly. The tyres are starting to take a little bit of strain. We have a change up in the lead. As you can see, it's Justin Robertson who's at the front. And Gerard Roux hasn't been able to find a way past back at him. Although he is all over the back and looking for ways, if there is any that open up. Coming into the closing stages now, Robertson trying to hang on. The 23 car there of Charles Roux. Whoa! Right off the track. Good catch. Oh, lucky to survive that one. Johan van der Venter definitely saw a slight opportunity there. The flag is going to come out for Justin Robertson, but van der Venter very lucky to avoid the sliding car there. And at the end, it's all about Justin Robertson, Gerard Roux and Charles Roux, top 3 in the Masters. In the pro category, Richard Upton takes the win ahead of Jason Loosemore. And in the young lions, a super effort once again there from Jagger Robertson. He'll take the victory there. Semi-pros, Dane van Heerden, and second place, Chris Hoy.
I'm very happy to be back, first of all. Like, I missed the first 2 rounds, bit of work commitments here and there, but I'm in the machine again, so that's lovely. And yeah, the car is going absolutely awesome. Struggled a little bit with some straight line speed in that race, but we know what the problem is, so we're going to sort it out for the next one, and hopefully we'll be putting a little bit more pressure on the front guys.
Starting second on the grid, we expected to be in the top 3. Struggled a bit with the car. The back end was very loose, so just had to nurse it home, not make any mistakes go off. Points are, we need a lot of points, so we'll see how the second race goes, do some changes, and hopefully it's a bit better.
Little tweaks is all you can do to these cars to try and get a little bit of an advantage over your competitors out there. It looks like it's a good start from Charles Roux this time. He holds shots down into turn 1. We're on board here with Justin Robertson. He's onto the back end of Gerard Roux, his arch rival from race number 1, and now back in it again here for race 2. Super on-board shot there from Justin Robertson's Liqui Moly and Big Boss car. But you can see just how difficult it's going to be for him to get through. He's got the champion on his tail. Richard Upton has decided wherever Justin Robertson goes, I need to go. And unfortunately, he ran wide there, but watch for him to cut back onto the back straight and run with Gerard Roux, potentially using that slipstream effect. So we go on board with him. Perfect shot there. Absolutely ideal opportunity to see whether the slipstream could be had. But as he went for the slipstream, he saw a late maneuver there from Gerard Roux. He pulled out completely and didn't get the slipstream effect there to the man who, of course, has the number 1 plate, Richard Upton. You're allowed to bump draft in these cars, remember, so you can literally get right onto the bumper and use the slipstream effect down the back straight. And here at Midvaal, it always works well. Race 1 winner in 4th place there, looking for opportunities. There are 3 cars ahead of him, and it's not going to be easy to find them. These guys are going to fight hard to ensure that the usual contenders don't make their way to the front too quickly. This is Charles Roux's point of view, the Rubro building machine, looking for the lead here as he comes up and finds a way past and does a good job of it. But look in the background, the Roux boys are on it today. They are not holding anything back. It is fantastic to see. Richard van Heerden, though, has not given up. He's still in with a shot. He's in 2nd place, but he's allowed Roux to get through. Back marker, slow back marker, in fact. Coming around the corner, looks like it might be Jason Loosemore who's on the outside there, who's had some issues, and might be pulling to the sideline. That's not good for him. As they come through there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cars, all within the same second. As they cross that, how tight this racing can be in the Legends category. Down onto the brakes. And is there a change? No, there isn't. Very, very evenly matched cars. Super to see that there's no holds barred as well. Literally, these guys go at it, wing mirror to wing mirror. There are not many wing mirrors on them, they're tiny little mirrors. But I just love the fact that there's enough room, there's a lot of respect from each of the drivers, and there's plenty of space to play, and that gives an opportunity once again to Van Heerden to get the front. So he's got to the front, and now he's going to try and hang on to it. On board with Dane Van Heerden. He's in third. Justin Robertson just behind him. Expect to see the 16 car squeezing out and looking for chances. Oh, a little bit of a wide run there from Charles Roux, and Van Heerden will make him pay. Van Heerden gets up inside and into second. Charles Roux drops down into third. Into the clutches of Justin Robertson and Gerard Roux there as well. Fantastic action. Richard Upton just waiting for something to go wrong. Super effort there from Johan van der Vente. He's just off the back end. Sean Moore also not too far off the front of this race too. You just saw his car squeezing through. Back on board with Justin Robertson. The big boss and Liqui Moly car. That's the bump draft. That's exactly what we want to see. Oh, it would be great to see that rear view camera as well as they came through, but so tight. The two GoPros nearly kissing down that back straight. That's how close it was. So at the front end now, things are definitely changing up. Justin Robertson is into second. Charles Roux wants to come back at him. Van Heerden with a small advantage. That might be enough, eh? There's 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 car lengths there between first and second place. And Richard Van Heerden might just have enough to get through and hang on for the win. Particularly if second place continues the fight that they're in. No, I say that completely wrong, because here they come. They run to the back end of Van Heerden. So Van Heerden now, so tight between these guys. It is great racing in these Onyx Legends. They definitely hold nothing back. Charles Roux, Richard Upton, the first 4 pulled a slight advantage now over Gerard Roux, Dane Van Heerden, Johan van der Vente. It's the second pack just in the background. In fact, looks like Gerard Roux might have closed. Yeah, he closed down that back straight onto the back of the number 1 car there of Richard Upton. Looking on the inside. Oh, Van der Vente runs ever so slightly wide. We've now got 7 cars. 7 cars fighting for the lead. This is brilliant. It's exactly what we want to be seeing here in the Onyx Legends. And here they come, under braking for the final turn. Coming through there, is it going to be Van Heerden? Yes, it is. Richard Van Heerden is going to hang on. Roux hangs on for second, and Justin Robertson just pipping Richard Upton to the line. So Van Heerden will take the Masters ahead of Charles Roux and Justin Robertson. The Legends Pro category goes to Richard Upton ahead of Jason Loosemore. And then, of course, we move into the semi-pros with Dane Van Heerden taking the win on Chris Hoy. And once again, Jagger Robertson, our young lion of the day.
It was a really awesome race. Really close. Wherever you look, there's someone on your inside, someone on your outside, someone right in front of you. That's what Legends racing is about. Evenly matched cars, putting the driver to the test. If the front oak is a little bit defensive, you really battle to get through. The great thing was the respect between the drivers. Everybody left everybody enough room. There was no incidents, and I mean, we were extremely close. But that's what makes it what it is. It's really great racing.
It is super racing, and hang tight for this kind of action in heat number 3, right after the break. Third and final heat of the Onyx Legends as they head down into turn 1. Oh, the 2 Ziegler cars look like they're up for the fight. Stephen Levine and Giles Moore getting through there and looking for chances right from the word go. We're on board with Dane. Around the outside comes Roux. I think this could be a little bit more hair-raising. Yeah, it's going to be very hair-raising. There you go. A little bit sideways. I don't want to bring the commentator's curse in too much, but it looks like right from the word go. A couple of cars starting to spin out. I think Giles Moore might get going again. You can see just how tight it is between these guys. Jason Loosemore back into the mix, so is Justin Robertson just behind him. I saw Jagger Robertson coming through there as well. The young lion doing a super job for his first season in the NX Legends. And on board with Justin now, heading down that back straight, trying to close down here on the first 4. Roux side by side. It's Van Heerden on the inside. Where is Upton? Upton a bit further back, a little bit further than what he'd like to be. Oh, big incident. There you go. Chris Hoy coming together there with Giles Moore. And the two of them locking up. Will they get going again? Looks like both of them able to get going again. Hopefully there's not too much damage to those cars. See, Moore's just lost a little bit of body work. But hopefully there you can see from a different angle. Oh, I think there may be, well, that's, you know, it's that time of the season. We need to create a couple more cars, but that's not how you do it, boys. Sure. Great action as always in NX Legends, and that's the kind of action you can have when you do lock wheels. So at the front end, it is the 23 car. He leads out at this stage. Can we see any maneuvers to catch him? Find a way past. Roux is the man to catch in the second one. and it's not going to be an easy day in the saddle, but you can see Justin Robertson is up for the challenge, so is Van Heerden, and so is Upton. The three of them going at it, looking for just a way to close things down. We had 7 cars fighting for the lead in race 2. We've got 4 of them now fighting for the lead in race 3. And this is round 4 of this championship at the Amtech Inland Championship. Sure, late braking from every single one of those 4. You can't go any later than that, otherwise you won't make the turn. It's Robertson who leads out at this stage. Van Heerden looking the most dangerous though. He's just put in one of the hottest laps we've seen all day long. A 17 dead. That is one of the fastest laps you're going to see around here in an Onyx Legend, and Richard Van Heerden is definitely up for the fight. Coming across the line to complete another lap. This Amtech Inland Championship is certainly proving to be a fantastic day's racing. And as they come through turn 1, it is now the number 1 car who's just put in a very good lap as well. And there you can see why. Upton dives on the inside. Oh, Richard Upton has demoted Van Heerden. Last lap, quickest lap, down into 3rd. Changes all the way through, and well, we're looking for opportunities if there are any. I don't know if we're going to see anything right now, but it is so close between these guys. Brilliant stuff as they come through there, and Charles Roux still up for the fight. He hangs on to 2nd place. Further back, that's Gerard Roux. Then you can see the rest of this pack coming in. Dane Van Heerden goes through there. The 73 car is Sean Moore. And Moore just ahead of Van der Venter. There is Jagger Robertson in the background. Not easy to pick up that machine as they come through, but look, that's great. Van der Venter in the AutoZone car trying to close things down there on the 73 of Sean Moore. Behind them, Jagger Robertson is actually in with a shot here. Could possibly demote a couple of guys down as he starts to go onto the attack. But this is the mid-pack battle, just as exciting as what we're seeing as the 4 fight at the front end. Onto that back straight and down towards that very long straight. And this is what it's all about. Here, Roux side by side with Robertson. Eventually Robertson has to just back out slightly and look for another chance later in the race. Gerard Roux has joined them. There's 5 cars now for the lead and only a couple of corners to go. Look at this. That's brilliant. Absolutely amazing stuff here. Robertson looking for a chance. No, not this time. Upton goes with him. No, they can't find it through you just yet. Can't be too much of this race left over as they come across the line and complete another lap. Justin Robertson dives on the inside, going for the lead. Can he get up? No, he can't. But it's very close between him and Roux. Roux runs over so slightly wide, and that mistake is going to cost him. There you go. You can't put a wheel wrong here. They're going to make you pay, and you're going to pay dearly. So Roux drops down to 3rd place after putting a wheel in the dirt. Upton up to 2nd. Looks like Van Heerden looking for a chance now to capitalize on the rattled Roux. Both Roux, in fact, are there. So Gerard, he's at the back looking for a way through on Van Heerden. Van Heerden's taken a win so far. So has Robertson. Robertson looking for 2 out of 3. If he can stay there, there's a chance he might be able to. If he outguns these guys on the straight, I don't think they're going to have a chance to get past him. And look at the drive he's got down that back straight. He's able to just get super line onto the back straight. And there you go. Oh, Roux out of shape. Oh! Make that Roux squared. Not the way you want him ending out. At the bottom of the straight, the 2 Roux coming together, and I'm not quite sure if the 23 car is going to get going again. He does. But he's going to fall right back. What a pity there. Checkered flag time, though, for Justin Robertson. Upton will take 2nd. And what a gift there to Jason Loosemore. He will take 3rd place, but 2nd in his pro category. He'll be behind Richard Upton, who came through for 2nd overall. It's Robertson, Richard Van Heerden, and Sean Moore in the Masters. Semi-pros, once again, Dane Van Heerden and Chris Hoy, and Jagger Robertson, making it 3 out of 3 for the Young Lion category.
That's a wrap for this show. Remember to keep up to date with the Inland Championship via our website, Facebook, YouTube and Twitter pages. I'm Nicole Kappa. Until next time, goodbye.